One thing about the holidays, they come around the same time every year. In spite of that fact, is it just me, or does the time in between holiday seasons seem to go faster as we get older? I understand Christmas comes around every 365 days, but every year I almost feel caught off guard. If you're in that hole with me, I'm happy to share that there are things we can do to make finances as smooth as possible during the holiday season. And in this episode, I'm sharing a few ways you can set your finances up for success when we're in the thick of holiday season. You don't need a full year to plan. Just stick to these tips and you'll feel financially peaceful getting through another holiday season. Hey there, I'm Rhea Reeves, and over a decade ago, I turned my life around through budgeting. I went from being an overspender deep in credit card debt to being the founder and full-time money coach of City Girl Savings. Now, I help women work towards their dream life and tap into their financial power one budget at a time. I fully believe you can live a life you love with a budget, and I'm living proof. The weekly City Girl Savings podcast focuses on the intersection of money and the City Girl lifestyle. Join me every week along with some special guests as I share my experiences, advice, and guidance on navigating life and money as an experience-loving millennial. So I've shared my experiences with holiday spending on the podcast before. Pre-City Girl Savings, I was constantly overspending on gifts for others and myself. And so much so that I'd start every new year off further behind in debt. Then came budgeting and money management and the City Girl Savings Frugal Fall Savings Challenge. I started this challenge a year after City Girl Savings was formed to help myself and the City Girl Savings community members save an extra $500 in just 8 weeks, just in time for Black Friday. Since then, this challenge has been my saving grace for having what I need financially for the holidays. And while this year's challenge is actually almost over, I won't really count that as a tip in this episode, but definitely make sure you're on the City Girl Savings newsletter so that you can be registered for next year's challenge and any other savings challenges we do throughout the year. But just to reiterate, saving $500 over the course of 8 weeks specifically for holiday shopping and spending and gifts and all of that has made a huge difference for me over the past almost decade. So let's get into how you can set yourself up for success during the holidays financially. I think the first thing that we want to do is get clear on the holiday priorities, okay? What truly matters to you? What is the most important thing to keep in mind when it comes to the holidays? Because let's be real, not every gift, event, or even tradition has to make it onto your priorities list, okay? So ask yourself honestly, what do I want to spend my limited money on this season? Is it gifts for people in my life? Is it experiences for myself? Is it travel to see family I haven't seen in a long time? Whatever those things are, there's no judgment, right? But prioritize the things that align with your values and even your family traditions if they still hold true to your heart. I think when we can establish those values and priorities, that will help eliminate any guilt we may feel when it comes to saying no to things that don't fit in that financially. So first things first, we need to get clear on what's truly important to us during the holidays. And once we do that, then we can start to be a little bit more financially strategic, because the next way to set yourself up or set your finances up for success during the holidays is to create a holiday-specific budget, even if it's last minute. Okay. If you have not created a holiday budget yet, it is not too late. It is always better to be intentional, even if the timeline isn't as good as we want it to be. If the timeline's tight, at least we can be intentional, right? So ask yourself, do you have any savings right now that you can use for your holiday spending? And if the answer is yes, that's a fantastic starting point. At least you have something to get you going. From there, I want you to list out all of the expected holiday expenses you're going to have. So gifts, food, travel, decor, events, etc. Anything that you know that you are going to spend your money on for the holidays, let's go ahead and get that list created. Once you have that list created, allocate amounts based on your current financial situation, okay? Not what you wish you had, right? If you only have an extra $250 a month after your bills and normal expenses and spending takes place, that's all you have to allocate to holiday spending. It's not $1,000, okay? So you got to be realistic with yourself. Please do not be like past Rhea and overindulge, because it will only leave you feeling bad and resentful during this amazing time of the year. But once you have all of the things that you know you're going to spend money on over the holidays and some allocated amounts towards those things, this will help give you some boundaries to stay within while still enjoying the holiday season, right? We don't want this to be a depressing time, but having this specific holiday budget will give you those boundaries you need to make sure that we're not overextending ourselves. And I definitely want you to check out episode number 45, How to Prep Your Budget for the Holidays, because in that episode, I go into some additional things you can do to get your holiday budget ready to go. I'll be sure to link to that episode in the show notes. Okay, the next thing you can do to set your finances up for success during the holidays is to make it a point to use cash or strictly debit cards for your purchases. The goal here is to avoid any debt hangovers that I've previously experienced myself. I think one of the easiest traps to fall into is relying on credit cards during the holidays, or if we're being honest, any time of the year, right? But specifically during the holidays, it's so easy to rely on credit cards. It feels easy and painless in the moment, but trust me, come January, you will feel that pain. So how you can use this tip to your advantage is maybe set up a holiday cash envelope, right? So get yourself a cute envelope or a plain white one, doesn't really matter. And any holiday spending money that you have budgeted or that we've listed out, go ahead and pull that cash and put it in the envelope. This envelope is going to be dedicated to all things holiday spending. What's great about using cash for this is when the cash is gone, that's it. You're basically done spending until you get paid again or until you can allocate more income to your holiday spending. I think this habit of using cash, or even for those who don't like functioning with cash, have a separate checking account that is strictly for holiday spending. And whatever amount you've budgeted for holiday spending, put that amount in the checking account. Okay, that way, we're not mixing funds here. This is a checking account specific to holiday spending that you have a debit card for. The same kind of thing applies. You swipe your debit card, and when the cash in the account is gone or the money in the account is gone, no more spending until you get paid again. Using cash or using this type of method to control your spending really builds discipline, and it protects you from overspending during the holidays. But again, this is a great practice for any time of the year. Me personally, I'm not a cash user, but I do have a separate checking account just for like my fun spending, for my discretionary spending. I have my budgeted amount going into that account, and I use that for all things whatever Rhea wants. Once the account balance drops to zero, no more spending for me. So again, you don't have to just use this tip during the holidays. It can be impactful any time of the year. Are you loving this episode so far? Well, the money and life level up conversations never end in the City Girl Savings community. Visit citygirlsavings.com for instant access to resources that help you budget, level up your money mindset, and so much more. And make sure you stay up to date with CGS by following us on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube, all at City Girl Savings. The next way to set your finances up for success during the holidays is get creative with gift giving, and make sure you always remember that it's not always about spending money, okay? thoughtful doesn't always mean expensive. You do not have to spend exorbitant amounts of money on gifts. I think one of the biggest mindset shifts I personally needed to make was that Christmas gifts didn't have to always have a big price tag. I used to think that the more money I spent on getting gifts for my friends and family meant that I was a better friend or family member. And that is so not true. You do not have to spend a lot of money to show the people you care about that you care about them. So here are some ideas to kind of get you going. First, DIY gifts. Those are strictly from the heart. So think homemade candles, baked goods, personalized photo albums, or even photo books, even a handwritten recipe book of your favorite dishes that you can give to a friend or family member who loves to cook. I think these types of gifts take effort, right? And that's what counts. But even though they take a lot of effort and often not a lot of money, these are the types of gifts people cherish the most, right? So get creative. DIY is a great option. Another option is experience gifts. So maybe instead of giving someone stuff or material things, consider gifting experiences. This could be offering a coffee date, planning a homemade brunch, or even gifting tickets to like a local event. I think the memory will last a lot longer than any material gift ever could. Another idea is just the gift of time or your service. So if you have friends or family members with young kids, offer a free babysitting night. For a busy friend, offer to help her with a home project. I think these gifts actually don't really cost you anything financially. Sure, you're going to be spending your time, but they may mean the world to the person who's receiving that gift. Another thing you can do is group gifting. So maybe in certain scenarios, whether it's at work or within your friend group, suggest doing a group gift where multiple people contribute to a purchase and that purchase then becomes like a bigger, more meaningful item. I think this will cut your individual expense, but still results in the person you're giving the gift to getting a quality gift. Obviously, Secret Santa or gift exchanges are always a good idea. You can propose Secret Santa, White Elephant with family, friends, coworkers, and this really helps limit the number of people you have to buy gifts for. And it also keeps things pretty fun and affordable. And then I think my final tip on this is set your expectations early. Do not be afraid to have any upfront conversations with your friends or family members about simplifying gift giving. More often than not, they're probably feeling the financial pressure too and will be relieved. So don't be afraid to share that it's going to be a lighter year or we want to make things simple when we're giving gifts this year. It's not about the gift, it's about the thought, right? And so having those conversations really just make sure expectations are set for everybody. Okay, the next way to set your finances up for success during the holidays is to be strategic with sales. And when I say be strategic, I mean do not let them derail you, okay? Black Friday, Cyber Monday, all of the holiday sales that pretty much exist from October through January. They are only good deals if you're already part of the planning process, right? If you are already planning on participating in the sales, that's when they're a good deal. If you were not planning on spending any money and a sale comes up, it is not a good deal. Girl math does not apply here. With no plan, spending $20 instead of $200 doesn't mean you saved $180. It means you spent $20 more than you budgeted. Okay, so be strategic with sales. Do not let them throw you off. We know that they are coming. Okay, so first things first, make a list and check it twice. Yes, holiday pun intended. But before you even look at your Black Friday ads or holiday promotions, make a list of every gift you need to buy or any holiday related items you need. This will become your approved list. Whatever's on the list, you are good to move forward with purchasing. If you come across something that's on sale that's not on your list, please, please, please practice self-control and put it off. Another thing to keep in mind when being strategic with sales is sticking to your budget, no matter how good the deal seems. And, like I said, past Rhea, she fell for this every time. But just because something is 50% off does not mean it's a deal, does not mean it's a steal, especially if you were not planning on buying it. Avoid the trap of buying things just because they're on sale. I know it's exciting. I know you get that little endorphin rush. I've been there. I understand. But if it's not on the list and it's not budgeted for, it's not worth it. Another thing you can do to be strategic with sales or just spending in general for the holidays is setting a spending limit per person. I feel like this really helps you stay grounded when you are faced with flashy discounts. So, for example, maybe you set a $50 spending limit per person. So even if a store is offering like a buy three, get one free, you'll know what fits into your budget and what doesn't, right? $50 is the spending limit. Whatever you can get within that $50, wonderful. But we're not going to let any extra buy three, get one free flashy discounts and promos throw us off. You can also use coupons and cashback apps strategically, right? So stack deals and savings with cashback apps like Rakuten or even your own credit card rewards, especially if you're disciplined with paying off your credit card. I think these small savings can definitely add up over time. Another thing you want to do to be strategic with sales is avoid window shopping. It can be so tempting to just go see what's out there, right? But the more time you spend browsing, the more tempted you will be to buy things you really don't need. So when you go venture out to spend for holiday shopping, shop with a purpose. Have your list in hand, have your budget top of mind. And finally, consider the sleep on it rule. So for any large purchase, give yourself a 24-hour cooling off period, okay? If you still feel like it's a good buy after a day, after that 24-hour period, and it fits into your budget, proceed, right? Move forward with the purchase. No one's saying you can't purchase the things you truly want and need, especially if they're budgeted for. But most impulse purchases lose their appeal after a little reflection. So giving yourself that 24-hour cooling off period will let you decide if you really do want to make that purchase. Sales are great, they're wonderful, but only if you have a solid plan in place, okay? Emotional or impulse purchases have no room here. And the final tip I have to set your finances up for success during the holidays is to plan for next year, right? If you are feeling in the thick of holiday spending and finances and things are just not feeling good this holiday season, let's vow to change that for next year. Start small, start early. I know this may not help you right here and now, right? But future you will be so grateful you started thinking about the next holiday season right now. So some things you can do are open a dedicated holiday sinking fund. And even if you're only putting a couple bucks in there throughout the year, having something ready to go when the next holiday season approaches is going to make you feel good. You can, again, start small. In that holiday sinking fund, maybe contribute $25 a month. That alone will add up to $300 over the year. You can also plan to participate in the Frugal Fall Savings Challenge like I plan to do. I know every year I'm going to participate in that challenge and have $500 to dedicate to my holiday spending. So participate in challenges like that so you know that you're covered. Anything you can do to just plan and prepare and be even just slightly more ahead for next year is going to help you break that cycle of last-minute financial stress. It's a wonderful time of the year. We don't want to be stressed out, and if we can avoid it, we should. So even if time got the better of you, you can still be financially successful during the holidays. And I think the tips I shared today can make all the difference for helping you get through this year. Learn what works well for you and your situation and make it a point to plan ahead for next year's holiday season. Thank you so much for letting me be the money coach in your ear today. I hope you enjoyed this episode of the City Girl Savings Podcast and you feel empowered and motivated to take the next step in the journey to your dream life. Remember, if someone like me, a millennial who loves to travel, new experiences, and iced coffees can live a life they love on a budget, You can too.